Hello, I'm Carrie, and this is Beyond the Womb Tarot, where I channel messages that help you continue to grow beyond the womb or expand your mind outside of your current comfort zone to enable you to become your highest self. I just want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for liking, subscribing. Thank you for watching. I love your comments. And let's get started. Let's get started with this. I won't even say this week's reading because who knows if I'll do another this week, but this reading is just kind of a general, like, what do we need to know reading. And it's interesting because normally when I do these, it's kind of like, what's coming up for the week? But I don't feel like that. I feel like this reading is more of a lesson. It's like a, hey, watch out for this. Look out for this. This is something that may come up for you or that is continuing to happen for you. And maybe you need to see this pattern in your life. So I pulled the spread already. Just gonna kind of start over here in this general area. It's interesting because there's a lot of major arcana cards, and when I was looking at this as I pulled it, I was like, okay, there's a lot of themes and messages coming out. What is the main message? And I really think that this is all about, it's kind of about you paying attention to yourself. Right now I'm reading He Who Fights with Monsters, and I just discovered that that book title is from, oh God, I don't know how to say that man's name, Nietzsche, where he talks about if you fight with monsters, make sure you don't become one. And I'm really getting that energy here in this reading. It reminds me of something too in my life when I left like my high paying career to start my own business. There were so many of the patterns that I had from my old career that I didn't realize I had. Like, I didn't understand that the only way that I knew how to run a business was how I had learned from the people who I was like, I will never work for you again. I only knew that. I didn't know any better yet. And I feel like this is the type of energy I'm getting here. Like the type of energy of you wanting to manifest and create something, but you're creating based on what you know, which is fine. Like that's what we do. But if you haven't taken the time to learn some new patterns or new, like if all you know is what you never liked in the past, if that's all you know, if you know, even if you're a parent, if all you know is like your parents didn't raise you properly, you didn't feel love during, your childhood. If that's all you know, how is it that you are going to provide that for your children? All the things that you have missing if you never learn a different way. All you know is that old way. You can't just expect to know how to do it correctly, quote unquote, without, taking a class, without reading some books, without like literally planning this out and trying to figure out, okay, what's a better path than what I had? When I was raised, my parents did this to punish me. So what am I going to do when I have children? How am I going to help them, show them the right way? How am I going to correct them? Do I want to punish? Do I want to correct? Do I want to just be like, no, figure it out? Like you would have to come up with your own set of values. But like if you're jumping into your new thing without taking a look back and seeing, okay, what didn't work and what is going to work. If you're doing that, then you are doomed to repeat the past because it's like you haven't learned anything better. You only know what you don't like, but you don't know like the path to go. Like, what is it that I do want to see? How do I want to act? Not like, oh my God, I ain't like that. I don't want to do that. Da, da, da. Like, that's nice to know. It definitely gives you a direction. But there's a need for you to know how to do this new thing that you've never done before, and all you've seen is poor examples of how to do it. Take somebody in a job or a career who has always been a worker bee, has never been the queen bee, and all of a sudden they get the opportunity to be the queen bee. But they don't have queen bee like attributes. They got worker bee attributes, and they start having difficulties getting people to listen, or difficulties getting respect, or like, the people who used to be your what is it called? The people who used to be over you, like your managers, now that you're a manager just like them, they still treat you the old way. So like being able to navigate that and really embody that new energy when you just stepped into the new role, you don't quite have it yet. It's some things that are missing, and there's some skills that you haven't developed and formed yet, but all those skills that you've been relying on to get you to where you are, you still have those, but they're not quite working in this new area. Like, this is the energy that I'm feeling, the energy of like there's something that's a disconnect here between what I desire and what I'm doing. Like, it's not working. It's not working out. Then we got the devil and the hermit. So this is interesting because the hermit is all off by themselves. There is nobody around them. They are off contemplating the world, trying to figure out and understand things. But this devil has their head. Literally, there's a string, and somebody's got their head, their hands, their head in their hands, as if they can't get the devil out of their mind. Like they can't get the negative thoughts, and to me, especially because it's these strings on there, it's like the patterns, it's the things that you do, like the puppet strings, the things that you do that you don't even know you're doing. It's like the things that are controlling you, the things that are subconsciously controlling you. And I feel like right now, or either you've done this before because it's kind of in the past energy, but it's showing you like, hey, these are the things that are stopping you from moving ahead. You might even be aware of these things because I feel like in this contemplative energy, if it's just you, you can't blame nobody else. You can't be like, oh, my boyfriend, he made me do this, or my mom and dad, they forced me to, like, no, this is you by yourself off in this contemplative energy, and you're seeing your own patterns. You're seeing the things that are holding you back. You're seeing like, oh man, I could have handled that better, or oh, I see how my anger always gets the best of me and puts me in certain situations that I don't even have to be in, but I'm allowing anger to control me. I'm allowing sadness. I'm allowing fear. Like whatever it is that's your devil in your life, you can like kind of see that coming up for you. You can see and understand how it's been hindering you or controlling you, or how it's been affecting the manifestations of the things that you really and truly desire. Like you could even, and it's so funny because sometimes we want to be so careful with our life that we want to make it perfectly and plan it. And because you're wanting to like be so perfect and controlling, you're literally like doing, like you're doing the exact same thing that those people that you never wanted to be like are doing. Like if we go back to the being somebody who was a worker bee who is now a queen bee. If you bring those same worker bee tendencies to the queen bee, you're going to be an overworked queen bee, because queen bee does not do all that. Queen bee directs, and guides and leads. Queen bee does not do the job themselves. So you could be literally overcorrecting. And so that's why the devil energy is there, because you're overcorrecting. You're making your life harder. There's another analogy I want to give, but I don't know how to say it. Like the words aren't there, but I can see it in my head. So I'm sending it to you telepathically. But it's like you're making your life harder because you are hustling backwards, basically. So now, here in the presence, we got Ace of Pentacles and King of Swords. King of Swords and the Hermit, to me, they're not quite so different. But to me, I feel like the King of Swords, like where the Hermit is sitting here contemplating and trying to understand, the King of Swords has the answers. He's been there, done that. He's taken the time to work through the things. Like he literally has done the research, has read the books, has talked to the people. He has tried out the thing. Like he has the knowledge. He's the King of Swords. He's at the top of the mountain, and the mountain is a mountain of knowledge. I just came up with that. Maybe it's something real. So I feel like right now, this literally could be in the now moment. And I say right now because this is present, but again, this reading to me does not feel like it's what's going on this week. It just kind of feels like hey, this is something you need to know. But I feel like there's an opportunity right now, like literally Ace of Pentacles, opportunity for you to be this King of Swords. Like it's an opportunity for you to kind of step back and see like what the truth is, see and understand. It's so interesting in your life journey, your path. You go through all of these experiences. You might even see other people go through these things and make these mistakes. But one day you kind of like look up and you look around and you see how all these things kind of come together. That's the type of energy I'm feeling right now with this Ace of Pentacles. Like something is allowing you to take a step back and take a look and be like, oh snap, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. This is why, like X, Y, and Z. This is why they get on my nerves, because they're making this mistake that I've seen before. Or this is why I'm being held back in this, because oh my gosh, I keep doing that same thing over again. This is why my partner is X, Y, and Z, whatever partners do, and seeing the type of decisions that they would make. And you're like, oh, this is why they're making that same mistake. I understand. This is what's going on in that show. I didn't understand it, but I got it. I got the plot. I understood all the little twists and turns they made. Like it's a moment in time that you're being allowed to see. It's like an opportunity that you can see the truth and what's going on, and like understand, and so you can make a different choice. That's what we have over here with the Wheel and the Knight of Pentacles. I feel like I keep seeing the Wheel of Fortune come up in these readings. So it's like a new opportunity, a new chance. Kind of like you get to do it over and over again until you get it right, that kind of energy. But I don't feel like we understand the number of chances that we get, because it's not like we get one chance to do one thing over again. There's so many different things and aspects of life that we get to do over again if we make a mistake. Say yesterday you wake up and you're in a bad mood, but you don't do anything about it. You just go through your day in a bad mood. That's one day that passed in a bad mood. The next day you wake up, you're in a bad mood, but you make a decision. I am not about to be in a bad mood today. And you do something about it. You meditate, You maybe do your favorite thing in the morning, like maybe you have pancakes. Normally you don't allow yourself to have pancakes, but you love pancakes. You get pancakes in the morning. Start your day off right. Or you decide, what, I'm taking a self-care day. You know what I mean? You make a different choice. That's just the decision of waking up and doing the next thing. That's just one choice and one decision. Imagine all the other decisions that you have to make throughout the day. So it's like this Wheel of Fortune could be so many different things in your life. And I love that it keeps coming up, because it's like not only are you getting the opportunity, are we getting the opportunity to do things over and over again and learn again, try again, spin again. But it's just happening over and over again. It's coming up in these cards. It's like we are in that mindset of like, I want to do it right. I want to get it right. I want to make it be how I want it to be. I want it to be different this time. I want to try something new instead of like same old. Let's do same old. Like, no, we're not going around in circles anymore. We're gonna try something else. We're gonna try something different. That's what I get from the Knight of Pentacles energy. It's like a long-term thing. This could literally be your mindset of, okay, if it's not right like this, let's try something different. Let's move a variable. Let's change something. Like scientists do when they're doing experiments. You hold one, you have a control, and you change a variable. There may be many different variables, but the control is how you want to feel. The control is going to be like, this is my ideal life. That's my control. Let me keep changing these variables until I get what I want. But there's so many variables. And then we have Three of Cups and Ace of Swords. The Hermit is alone here. The King of Swords is alone here. But this Three of Cups energy is with others. And I think that is key when it comes to this new spinning of the wheel. It's easy for you to like be perfect, to create the perfect life for yourself when it's only you, only one person that you have to please. But imagine putting together a world, for yourself that involves others, that involves the world as it is now, and imagine living a life in which you're able to go out into this world and just be happy, be yourself, no matter what environment you're in. I feel like if we are alone so much, if we don't take into account the others that are in our lives, then are we really creating a paradise, or are we just creating like a prison cell for ourselves? It reminds me of that, what is that book called? The Untethered Soul. And how like you can literally block parts of yourself off, so much so that you block all the light from coming inside of yourself because you blocked everything out. Like, you're not allowing others in. And that's what I get here. I feel like the path forward when you spin this wheel again is not going to be like the selfish energy of, I'm going to make my life so perfect, so freaking amazing, and forget anybody else who's in the way. I really feel like, especially with this Three of Cups and this Ace of Swords, it's kind of like a direction. It's building it with a community, with a group, together with others. And that can be so tricky and so difficult because sometimes it's the others that we are wary of. Sometimes it can be the energy of, all's good until I get together with these people, or blah, blah, Or maybe somebody's like a super empath, and anytime you're around others, it cannot be so fun. But why do you think you were an empath? Like, what purpose would it be to be an empath if you're all alone and you cannot, like, feel anything? Like, why be so sensitive? I think that there's a reason that you're sensitive, and that should be explored and understood. Like, there's a purpose there, instead of trying to run away and block off from it, to like blossom and open up to it. Because I just really kind of feel the energy of like, I'm not into that. My trip of contemplation has been me on my own, learning my own stuff, my own self. But why link up with other people when the world is right when I'm alone? Like I really get those introvert vibes here. But I'm seeing like the pathway is to link up with people who are like-minded. Also, like learning from others. There's people who have walked this path before you. They might literally know the same things. They've gone through some of the same things, and you're not like seeking them out to understand. It's like you could do this better with help. Is what I'm feeling. But let's get some advice. So I've pulled these cards of advice just to help us understand a bit better. Gonna zoom in. This is very interesting. Like the story to me is at the beginning of the journey, you're so optimistic, so excited. You get all this joy, but this sun card is also the ego. Also kind of like just feel the energy of not being very grounded starting out, whatever this is, because this could be literally the beginning of your life, the beginning of a new journey, the beginning of your project that you're thinking about right now as I'm reading for you. This could be a relationship. Like the beginning is all rainbows and sunshine. Like you have the highest hopes and the highest beliefs. That's what I see here. It's like, I'm gonna reach the stars, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna make this happen. Like that energy of manifesting and creating whatever your heart's desires are. I really get that energy. But quickly, very quickly here, we have the Five of Cups. Five of Cups is about trying and trying and trying, and kind of like that energy of loss, because look at all these cups. I feel like the energy is wasted. What have I gotten? And that is like the energy of loss isn't like the emotion of loss. You could have physically actually lost things. Also, you could have like mentally, sometimes we win, but it feels like a loss because we didn't necessarily get what we wanted. Have you ever won an argument and that person that you were arguing with that you wanted to stay, they walked away because of that? Did you really win? Like it's that kind of energy that I'm feeling. It's like, oh, but did I win? And then kind of like sitting there and contemplating and understanding, all right, I've gone through all these things. I've created all these things. What were all these things for? What were they for? Why did I have to go through all these lessons? And it's kind of like the energy of you learning how to do it based on failure. Not based on failure, but you gotta, like, you learn from experiences. And not every single try you give, you're gonna win or do well or like, do the best. Give the A1 try, because there are gonna be some things that we're not good at. We don't understand. We don't know yet because we haven't been there yet. I just kind of get that energy here with the Five of Cups. Having high hopes, but not being able to fulfill those hopes for yourself. So feeling down about it. Even here with the Five of Pentacles. Again, having high hopes, but kind of being afraid to get up and try again because, oh man, the last time. And it's so interesting because we're even going into the Nine of Swords. We're talking about the mental energy. We're talking about like the negative thought patterns. We're talking about like kind of, what is it called? Self-sabotage type energy. And I'm like, okay, what is the advice here then if we're looking at this like this? I always say this, that this is a part of the cycle. This is how it goes. This is how you learn. This is how you understand. If we go back to the analogy of the person who is the worker bee that now got promoted to the queen bee, I kind of feel like this is the part where you can either, give up or like push through it. And when you do push through it, it's like you come with that second win and you really like, you discover what it is that you're made of. But in order to do that, you really have to clear out all of this. And to me, this is fear. Imagine messing up, quote unquote, losing. Imagine like trying your best and still not getting the job done. You put your all into it and still didn't get the job done. It's sometimes hard to get out of this energy of like, man, I'm a failure, I'm wrong, I don't know what I'm doing. I think that's shame. That's the energy of shame. It's hard to get out of that. But if you really stick through it and you see the truth, like, oh, I was inexperienced, I didn't understand, I didn't know what was going on. Maybe I need to link up with some people who do. Maybe I need to go and read some books. Maybe I need to go and understand, take a class, a workshop, maybe do something online. Maybe just like kind of take a step back and look for myself and understand, like put the pieces together, do the cause and effect analysis and understand things. Then these Nine swords can't exist anymore because it's kind of like their fear, but if you understand the truth, the fear cannot exist anymore. And that's what I see with this little white bird. It's kind of like, it's like the truth coming in. I don't know if you see this force field. It looks like it's pushing those away. But once you sit and take the time to understand and discover the truth and what's really going on and why you where you are, then you would be able to move forward. It won't be this merry-go-round of like, let's try this variable, let's try that variable. It's gonna be, this is what's real, this is what's going on, this is the pattern that are running me. This is why, like, if I created this business and I expected to make this amount of money, but I only made this amount of money. Like, you can literally look at straight up facts like, ooh, my expenses were higher than my income. Okay, why was that? Like, you can literally go back and do an analysis and see. Like, you can, because we have this sword energy, mental energy, you can sit here and get the mental understanding of this. Well, I understand why. I'm not going to just make up some stuff like, I wasn't good enough, or I didn't, like, that's, if you want to think those thoughts, you can. But if you want to really go back and understand, like, all right, that wasn't good. Let me come up with another idea. Let me try something different. What are my skills then? If I wasn't so great at this thing, then what am I great at? Let me go pick myself back up and ask, some friends, hey, what do you think I'm good at? Ask your mentor, hey, like, what do you see in me that I haven't been taking advantage of, or that I haven't been growing very well? What is it I could be working on? What is my skill that I can further harness in a more, I don't know, in a more straightforward way, instead of just being like, oh, I'm going to play with it. Like, no, how can I do this better? Go find somebody who's in the position that you want to be in and be like, oh, how you get here? How can I get here? Where did you start? Who did you talk to? What did you invest in? Like, I really feel like there's an opportunity to turn these 9 swords into, like, 9 swords, 9 sources of information, and not 9, like, negative thoughts. So that's the advice. All right, I will see you in the next one.